Dark Zone Setter. Also, AoE Sleep. Should you scout or skip Sygna Cyrus and Darkrai? That is the question. Today, we will discuss the answer. With that said, strap on your seatbelts, hit the thumbs up button, and enjoy watching. Let's do this! Yo, yo, yo! This is Solo, also known as SPL Gum, also known as Spatial Gum, also known as Grunt. Yeah, this team's called Grunt. And this is Pokemon Masters EX. Guys, welcome to my brand new series, Scout or Skip. Well, it's actually just retitled from sync pair analysis videos. I think call to action titles work much better. But anyway, guys, today we're going to discuss a very strong Dark type sync pair that's coming up on February 10 or February 9 from some other parts of the world. So, he is the third sync pair that is coming in this update. Third new sync pair rather that's coming in this update. So first we have PALENTINE'S Marnie, second we have PALENTINE'S Bay, then Sygna Cyrus, then Sygna Dawn. Now, again, the anniversary or the 2.5 year anniversary is coming on February 28th. So that means none of these sync pairs are the anniversary unit. Now, the anniversary unit normally has a, is normally a little bit, not all the time, but most of the time, it has something to do with being better than the past several units in the game. So in the 0.5 year anniversary, we had Sygna Red, 0.5 year anniversary. 1.5 year anniversary, we had Leon. And 2.5 year anniversary, I wonder what we'll be having. But none of these are the anniversary unit. Now, I've seen Absolutely's Twitter, and lately, or I think earlier, depending on what time you're watching this, he posted something like, the update might come before Blue and Arcanine's, release date arrives. And that is February 17. Because right now, he says the 6-star EX background avatar image of Blue is temporary. It's just a placeholder, so it has a similar color as Blue and Pidgeot's thing. So if we really do have an update before the 17th, which is Blue's release date, that means we will be knowing probably will know who the 2.5 year anniversary sync pair is in advance. Or probably, this is also a possibility, guys. Probably, we'll have another sync pair before the 2.5 year anniversary. And probably they might still postpone and not let us know who the 2.5 year anniversary is when we have an update. So, just to keep those, just needed to say those things out for those who are expecting a lot of things. Like, because before, a year or couple of months ago, many months ago, we had Alder. Alder was a surprising pair. It was not part of the original update, and then he came in a sudden update between the month. So we might be having, February 14 is very far from February 28. There is always a possibility of another bait unit coming before the anniversary, which is gonna be very sus and very frustrating if that happens. So make sure you keep it in mind. But if we have an update on or before the 17th, that will also give you an idea whether or not you should scout for PALENTINE'S Marnie or PALENTINE'S Bay, who are going to last until February 18, only last day. So those are the possibilities. Those are seasonal scouts, seasonal scout rates. This returning banner is also seasonal scout rates. These two are Pokefair rates, which are 2% chance of getting either of them, or 10% chance of getting a random 5-star sync pair. With that out of the way, let us quickly and thoroughly discuss about Sygna Cyrus right now, which, if you see this Mindscape image, congratulate yourselves. You have successfully obtained Sygna Cyrus and Darkrai, a twisted world full of incomplete human spirit. That would be an intolerable nightmare. Indeed. Nice. And guys, he has two different attacks or Pokemon moves. One is Dark Void. Dark Void is an AoE move that puts every single opponent to sleep. It is 80% accuracy, so it might not, apply to all the time. It might not be successful all the time unless you increase the accuracy stat by using Perpetual Nightmare, his trainer move, which raises your accuracy +1, critical hit rate +1, and special attack +2. You can use this 2 times. Or you give him a lucky skill called Troublemaker 1, which you normally give Troublemaker 1 to a lot of sync pairs that have, anything that causes sleep, because it will almost always double the chances, the accuracy of non-damaging status inflicting moves. So Troublemaker 1, for those who are wondering, works with Stun Spore, works with Sing, works with anything to do with paralysis, like Will-O-Wisp also works. Non-damaging status moves. Troublemaker 1. But, Sygna Cyrus is a very strong sync pair. He's an attacker. And so if you want to maximize his damages, you might want to give him Critical Strike 2 or Superpowered 3 instead for the lucky skill in order to make him way stronger. And so Dark Pulse is his damaging attack. It's a 3-move gauge that makes the opponent flinch, or rather 20% chance of making the opponent flinch. It only hits 1, but his trainer or his passive skills are quite interesting. I'll get to that in a bit. He has a Dark Wish, so he is also a Dark Zone setter. So this is the 4th zone setter we have in the game. First was it no. What was the first one? Ghost Wish with Sygna Renegade Cynthia. Second one was Dragon Wish with Lucas. Third one was Palentine's Marnie, Steel Wish. This is the 4th one, Dark Wish. Powers up dark type moves by 50% when there is a dark zone. So you can pair Sygna Cyrus up with other dark types, make them stronger once you use Dark Wish. And then his sync move, Perfect World Dark Pulse, increases in damage when the field is Dark Zone. Okay, now let's talk about his passive skills. These are interesting. Sync Snooze, the opponents all fall asleep after you use his sync move all the time. So this is an upgraded version of Summer Lyra's Clock Out. Clock Out only hits 1 opponent, the opponent that you target with your sync move, except if you have Summer Lyra 6-star EX. This one, he's a tech sync pair, so once you 6-star EX him, you can only hit 1 opponent, but every single opponent that is awake will fall asleep after you use a sync move. Bad Break 9. Whenever you use Dark Void, it lowers one random stat, whether you attack stat, defense, special attack, special defense, speed, accuracy, or evasiveness. It lowers one random stat of the opponents of all opponents when you use Dark Void. Now, it doesn't say here that Dark Void has to be successful. It only says that every single time you use Dark Void, you lower one random stat of the opponent. So probably you can spam Dark Void. Now, these are all theory. It's hard to say how these work until we get to test him out, okay? So until we get Sygna, Cyrus and Darkrai, all I can say is what I understand from these descriptions. So every single time you use Dark Void, you get to lower one random stat of the opponent. One random stat out of 7 stats. We have several great debuffers out there. We have, you know, Sygna Elessa is like my favorite, or rather, Classic Elessa is currently my favorite debuffer. So every single time the opponent is paralyzed, you use any move, or rather use any attack move using Classic Elessa on a paralyzed opponent, you get to lower 5 stats. Meanwhile, you have Sygna Leon with Lucky 7-4, 50% chance of lowering every single stat of those 7 on the opponent. 50% chance of lowering 7 stats. This one, it lowers one of the 7 random stats, but for everyone. So this is like Unfortuitous 9, except that you have to use Dark Void, so it doesn't damage the opponent. Dark Void just makes all the opponents fall asleep until we talk about the third passive skill, which is Shared Nightmare. Deals additional damage to all opposing sync pairs when the user's Pokemon uses a move. This additional damage is not affected by some status changes. So, the way I understand this, guys, is when the opponent is asleep, every single time you use a Pokemon move, everyone that is asleep will receive Dark type special damage. Every single time you use a Pokemon move, every single opponent that is asleep will receive Dark type special damage. And by Pokemon moves, we are talking about Dark Pulse and Dark Void. So does this mean that we can just spam Dark Void non-stop? Make sure all the opponents never wake up and keep on hitting them even though Dark Void does not do damage. They will receive damage from Shared Nightmare as long as we use Dark Void. And every single time we use Dark Void, we get to lower 1 of 7 random stats for every single opponent. Does this mean that way? Because if this does mean that way, that would be awesome. So we're letting every single opponent never wake up, and then we're dealing damage as we continue to make them fall asleep. And we're debuffing them and non-stop, no wake up, don't wake up forever. Now again, this is theory. And as far as I know, this should work with Dark Pulse. I am not sure if this works with Dark Void, but from what I understand, this should work with Dark Void. Let me know what you think. Do you think that this Shared Nightmare works with Dark Void or just with Dark Pulse? I think, from what I read, that this also works with Dark Void. And if that also works with Dark Void, then Sygna Cyrus is definitely awesome. And with that said, let's go to his Synchrid right now. At 1 out of 5, notable Synchrid tiles: Wide Awake, never falls asleep. 2 out of 5, Acuity, accuracy cannot be lowered. Aggravation 1 for Dark Pulse, doubles the chance of making the opponent flinch. That is 20 times 2 more or less. 40% chance of making the opponent flinch by using Dark Pulse. We have Dark Void Fast Track 2, Every single time you use Dark Void, you have a 50% chance of raising your speed stat. But he has a pretty high speed stat at 370. I don't think this is that important. And he does not also get inertia or ramming speed in his grid. So I don't think this is that important in his grid, personally. He also gets Grand Entry 2, raises your special attack +2 at the start of the battle. By using Perpetual Nightmare, his trainer move, you get to raise your special attack stat +4 when you use it 2 times. With Grand Entry 2, you're able to raise your special attack stat to +6. Then you have Perpetual Nightmare MP Refresh 2, 30% chance of bringing back Perpetual Nightmare. Perpetual Nightmare gives you an accuracy +1, special attack +1, or special attack +2, and critical hit rate +1. So with this max out, or with 3 uses of Perpetual Nightmare, you will also get your crit maxed out. Pinpoint Entry 1, if you plan to use Dark Void like immediately and hopefully not miss, Pinpoint Entry 1 would increase your accuracy stat by 1 immediately at the start of the battle. So that makes your Dark Void 90% accuracy, more or less. And then Umbrella Acceleration 2 charges your move gauge quicker when your field is Dark Zone. But again, his speed stat is pretty high. 370, not bad, not bad. And if you have him 6-star EX, his speed stat goes up to 400 something. So pretty fast. And then 3 out of 5, you get Bad Break 1, which adds up to Bad Break 9, has a 20% chance of lowering the all opponents' stat randomly when you use Dark Void. So this can trigger with the same time as Bad Break 9, so you can probably lower 2 stats or 1 stat -2 when Bad Break 1 triggers. And then we have Dark Pulse, Critical Strike 2. When your Dark Pulse is a critical hit, it becomes stronger. Good Nightmare 5 for Dark Pulse. If the opponent is asleep, Dark Pulse will deal stronger damage. Dark Wish MP Refresh 2 at 3 out of 5. Bring back Dark Wish. Power Play, or rather Good Nightmare 5, is an additional multiplier. Same as Dark Pulse, Good Nightmare 5. This also works. I think, guys, these multipliers do not work with Shared Nightmare. Now, I'm not sure about this one. Again, all these are theory. But Good Nightmare 5 powers up your moves if the opponent's asleep. This is not locked to Good Nightmare 5, so I'm not sure if Dark Void, Shared Nightmare, Good Nightmare 5 or something? I am not sure. Then Power Play, the more the opponent's stats are lowered, the stronger your sync move is. This is his sync move multiplier. So keep on lowering the opponent's stats. Very, very strong sync move damage. Super Preparation 1, 20% chance of applying super effective next when you use any of his moves. And then Umbral Power 3, when the field is Dark Zone, your moves or your attacks are stronger, not applying to sync moves. And 2 sync nuke tiles for Sygna Suit Cyrus. Now, nice tiles, but for your info, look at this, and you will see that every single multiplier he has are locked at 3 out of 5. Only his built-in sync move multiplier is available with 1 or 2 copies, but everything else is locked at 3 out of 5. So that means you have to get at least 3 copies of him in order to make him an extremely powerful dark type unit. But if you just wish for Dark Zone or the ability of making every single opponent fall asleep, 1 copy or 2 copies is enough. But if you're expecting him to deal massive damage, you have to get at least 3 copies of him. But as usual, you're not able to get everything. At 1 out of 5, sure. That's no problem. You can get every single tile in his sync grid. No problem. At 2 out of 5, it gets a little bit more challenging. So over here, I think this is the tiles or the grid that I will be going for him. Again, I think that he's fast enough. So I think I'll go for Perpetual Nightmare MP Refresh 2 instead of Grand Entry 2 because they basically work the same way. But Perpetual Nightmare will also raise my accuracy stat and raise my critical hit rate. We have Pinpoint Entry to allow us to use Dark Void immediately, 90% accuracy. We got Dark Pulse, Move Gauge Refresh 3, and Dark Pulse Aggravation 1. And I think that is how I would build my 2 out of 5 Darkrai. At 3 out of 5, this gets even more challenging. I got 3 options, or rather 2 options. I think I got 3 options for this one. Anyway, I think there's only 2 options here. But first is the attack build. So this is not a sync build. This is an attack build. So I got over here at the bottom, we have Umbral Power 3. If the field is Dark Zone, we make our attacks stronger. We have Dark Wish MP Refresh 2 so that we're able to bring back Dark Zone. And then we have Dark Pulse Good Nightmare 5 powers up my Dark Pulse stronger, 50% stronger when the opponents are asleep. Dark Pulse Critical Strike 2 makes my Dark Pulse stronger when they're critical hits. And we have over here Super Preparation 1 has a 20% chance of applying Super Effective Up Next when I move with any move. I think this also applies with Dark Void, Dark Wish, Perpetual Nightmare. I think that applies to any single thing. So 20% chance of giving me an additional Super Effective Up Next multiplier, making my Dark Pulse stronger, as well as this also applies to sync moves. And then my sync nuke over here, we have Dark Wish MP Refresh 2 at the bottom, so to bring back Dark Wish. Over here to the top, we got Super Preparation 1 again. We have Good Nightmare 5, powers up my moves if the target is asleep. So this works with Dark Pulse. This does not work with a sync move. I'm not sure again if this works with his passive skill, but at least we have an attack move multiplier. And then we got Power Play over here. The more the opponent's stats are lowered, the stronger my sync move is gonna be. Got Grand Entry 2 to raise my special attack +2. And then we got that. So there are a couple of options here. I can, instead of Good Nightmare 5, I can remove this and go for Bad Break 1. Or, you know, just remove one of this and go for Sync +25 or something like that. It's your choice. These are my options. There's no right or wrong with sync grids. Just experiment. But I think this is something that I would give to, a sync nuker build. Now, with this, I can only raise his critical hit rate to +2. I have to find another way on maximizing his critical hit rate with this one. So probably someone, we got some sync pairs now with Team Sharp Entry 1, which will raise my critical hit rate +1 immediately. Team Sharp Entry 1. So yeah, those are a couple of options with his sync grid. Now let's go back to this slide, guys. Now, these are the things, or these are the sync pairs that are coming. Again, this is the chart for everyone. As you can see over here, Palentine's Marnie is the strongest with terms of attack. Palentine's Bay, the lowest in attack, lowest in HP, but the highest in nothing. Sygna with Dawn has the highest HP, highest defense, and highest special defense. And Sygna with Cyrus has the highest special attack, but the lowest defense and special defense, but the highest speed. out of everyone. And the multipliers they have, as you can see over here, Sygna Cyrus has quite some nice, decent multipliers. But again, they're locked at 3 out of 5. So unless you are able to get 3 out of 5 with Sygna Cyrus, well, you can only get the basic build of Sygna Cyrus, which is pretty good as well. But don't expect him to deal that much damage. Now, we have a lot of dark types. We have so many strong dark types, and we have a lot of sync pairs that have dark type moves but are not dark types at all. In fact, this is funny. These are actually the strongest DPS dark type users in the game right now. So with the arrival of Sygna Cyrus and Dark Wish, we have Sygna Cyrus. I'm comparing again. These are the strongest dark type DPS right now that we have. Sygna Cyrus, Fall Hilbert, Karen, and the original Karen, Houndoom, Karen and Houndoom. Marnie, who's an electric type, and Nessa, who is a water type. Marnie has Power Trip, and Nessa has Jaw Lock, which are dark type moves. So over here, Sygna Cyrus has the highest attack special attack stat. Karen has the highest speed stat. Fall Hilbert has the highest HP and attack stat, but the lowest defenses and special defense. Marnie has the lowest special attack, but the highest special defense. And then Nessa has the highest defense and the lowest attack and speed stat. But stats are not everything. Let's move on. These are their multipliers, guys. So over here we have Fall Hilbert with Gritty 5. If you're inflicted by status condition, your attacks get stronger. Insult to injury, the lower the opponent's defense is, the stronger your damage. Ramming speed, the higher your speed stat is, the stronger your damage. If the opponent is weak to dark type attacks, super duper effective 1 will make your attack stronger. Haymaker allows you to deal stronger sync move damage the higher your attack stat is. So as you can see, some of his multipliers are available at 1 out of 5, so most of them available at 2 out of 5. 3 out of 5 unnecessary, but Fall Hilbert, 1 copy or 2 copies enough. Karen is the only 2 of them here are non-limited units. So Karen and Nessa. Meanwhile, Sygna Cyrus, Fall Hilbert, and Marnie are limited units. So Karen over here, Dark Pulse Overpower. The lower the opponent's special attack stat is, the stronger Dark Pulse is gonna be. Dirty Fighting and Foul Fighting. One of them involves flinching. One of them involves status conditions. So either of the 2 makes your, attacks stronger. No sync move multipliers for Karen. Meanwhile, Marnie and Nessa are not dark type, so I'm not including their sync move multipliers over here. So Marnie has Power Trip. The higher her the higher her speed stat or stats are, the stronger the damage. In fact, sorry, I think I forgot to include Aura Wheel here. She has Aura Wheel ramming speed. I forgot that Aura Wheel can actually swap types from electric type to dark type and stuff. So she has an additional Aura Wheel multiplier. Just take note of that, guys. Mode Swing. If she is full belly mode, electric types get stronger. If she is in hangry mode, her dark type moves get stronger. Again, Dark Trip or Power Trip, dark type move. Aura Wheel swaps between electric and dark type. And then she gets super effective up next. Super Preparation, something I think with her trainer move. Yeah, that is her multipliers. And then Nessa, we have Hold Hostage 2. If the opponent is restrained, you do this by using Jaw Lock. You get to deal more damage. Hunter's Instinct, the lower the opponent's speed stat is, the stronger the damage. Restraint Power 5, if you are restrained, And you can restrain yourself by using Jaw Lock as well. Makes your attacks go stronger. And if it's raining, Raging Rain 3 makes your attacks stronger. Now with these are their damage output. These are the numbers. And thank you again to Jack, Bernard, STDK12 and stuff for the tools. So these are the damage with Dark Zone included. So every single one with Critical Strike 2 Lucky Skill if you're curious. Again, link will be in the description to see how these are computed and all. But as you can see over here, these are the top DPS Dark types that we have in the game right now. Fall Hilbert with 5,586,035. These are maximum multipliers, by the way. And Sygna Cyrus at the second one with 4,321,220. Karen is the third with 4,124,682. Marnie is the fourth with 4,064,904. And Nessa is the fifth one with 3,671,098. These numbers are not to be laughed at. These are really strong DPS. But again, these are maxed out stats with maxed out multipliers. Some of these are hard to trigger. Like for example, insult to injury, you have the lower the opponent's defense stat. With Fall Hilbert, you can lower the opponent's defense stat with Crunch, but it's not all the time. So ramming speed, you need your speed stat increased to max before you get to, get these multipliers active. Dark Pulse Overpower, you have to lower the opponent's special attack stat low. Meanwhile, Power Trip, you have to increase your stats high. Hunter's Instinct, low speed for the opponent. Meanwhile, Dark Pulse Critical Strike 2, you just need critical hit. Dark Pulse Good Nightmare 5, you just need the opponent to fall asleep. Good Nightmare 5, just need the opponent fall asleep. Super effective up next, you just need the opponent to be weak to dark type moves. And Umbral Powers 3, you just need a Dark Zone. So comparing the ease of getting these multipliers, the easiest one out of a bunch is Sygna Cyrus or actually Sygna Cyrus is the easiest one out of every one of these in order to maximize your multipliers. Sygna Cyrus is the easiest one because you just need the opponent to be number 1 weak to dark type, number 2 fall asleep, and just land a critical hit. And Dark Zone. And you got all these multipliers. Meanwhile, every single one has to have some sort of stat debuff or stat buff on you in order to get those multipliers. So that's one advantage of Sygna Cyrus compared to the other dark types. And then sync nuke damage, as you can see over here. Nessa and Marnie, we're excluding them, but look at Nessa's damage compared to Cyrus. Very strong. Fall Hilbert's sync nuke damage is pretty good for a striker. 8,335,750. Again, these are with Dark Zone active. So Sygna Cyrus is also an enabler. Every single one with zones are enablers. So yeah, those are the DPS. Now, these are the sync nukers. The strongest sync nukers for dark type moves. Now, these are probably really popular. I love combining Sydney and the Mask Royale in my team. They are an unstoppable force. Mask Royale can lower the opponent's attack and defense stat. What's missing about him is a critical hit rate buffer. Sydney, on the other hand, just critical hits here and there, non-stop critical. Grimsey a little bit less usage because he's a sort of a risk taker, as he says, but by being in this list, that means he's one of the strongest sync nukers. And then Fall Hilbert is also falling into the list of strongest dark type sync nukers over here. together with Sygna Cyrus. As you can see, Grimsley's or Grimsley and Leopard's speed stat is the highest. Paul Hilbert's HP is the highest. And just look at these stats for your own, because stats are not everything. Now, let's move on. Okay. Oh, by the way, guys, before I forget, if you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, make sure you hit the thumbs up now, as it will help really with the YouTube algorithm. And also, help me out by leaving a comment down below in the comment section, not just in the live chat. I know you love doing that. Help me out. Leave a comment in the comment section, whatever comment you want. Probably let me know if you're scouting for Sygna Cyrus or not. But these are very strong dark types. Probably Grimsley not the best one, but being in this list makes him one of the strongest dark type nukers out there. So Fall Hilbert, we have just discussed him. Grimsley, I really double checked because it's not me who did the numbers. So I kind of double checked. Really, with just that built-in multiplier, he's one of the strongest sync nukers in the game. Sus. Or maybe there's some mistake. Maybe not. We'll have to see. Let me know. But Sydney has a lot to do with critical hits. Brutal Swing, Critical Strike 5, Critical Strike 3, Night Slash, Critical Strike 3. Super effective up next at 2 out of 5. Then he has Sync Move Multiplier do with Confusion. So if the opponent's confused, built in, stronger damage. Fuzzy Strike 2 if the opponent's confused. Catastrophe 5 if it's a critical hit. There's a super effective up next as well with 2 out of 5. And then there's the Mask Royale. Bob and Weave, the higher your evasiveness stat is, stronger the damage. Insult to Injury, the lower the opponent's defense stat is, stronger the damage. R Posture, the lower the opponent's attack stat is, the stronger the damage. Power Reserves 5, if you're low on HP, the stronger the damage. Ramming Speed, the higher your speed stat is, the stronger the damage. And then built-in, Inertia. Dominating Sync 5, if the opponent's attack stat is lowered, even -1, 50% stronger Sync Move. And then Pecking Order, the lower the opponent's attack stat is, the stronger the Sync Move damage. Again, I love using Sydney and the Mask Royale together. And these are the numbers that we can get from them. So over here, Sync Nuke damage. Number 1, we have Sygna Cyrus. Number 2, we have the Mask Royale with 21,320,820. Number 3, we have Sydney with 20,064,607. Number 4, rather, we have Fall Hilbert, 8,335,750. Number 5, we have Grimsley with 7,759,184. Now, take note, same as what I said earlier, some of these multipliers are easier to obtain than the others. So Sydney, you only have to have the opponent confused and land a critical hit, and you get maximum multipliers. Aside from the super effective up next. The Mask Royale, you only have to... Dominating Sync 5, I think he has Terrify 1 in his grid, or rather in his kit. So immediately at the start of the battle, the opponent's attack stat is -1. That triggers Dominating Sync 5 immediately. Pecking Order, you have to attack the opponent several times in order to get their attack stat down. And you have to use 2 trainer moves in order to maximize his speed stat. Meanwhile, Grimsley's multipliers probably a little bit harder to obtain, especially if the opponent has Impervious or some stats cannot be lowered, like Headstrong or Dauntless or something. The opponent has something like that, and they're able to raise their stat, which cannot be lowered. This multiplier will not trigger. Paul Hilbert, you need to raise your attack stat as high as you can. And Sygna Cyrus, you need to lower the opponent's stats as low as you can for power play. So for this list, the easiest sync Nook to get is Sydney, and that's why a lot of us use Sydney for the sync move instead of using the Mask Royale, at least, even if his sync Nook damage is stronger, because it's much easier to nuke using Sydney. And also, I think his sync move also critical hits land more easily. So that is Soften Up 1 translated into a skill tile or something. It's called Soften Up 1, and it allows us to like have, because if you use a sync move, your critical hit rate is automatically -1 from max, and with Soften Up 1 you do not get that negative effect. So it's still, your critical hit rate is still +3 instead of +2 instead. So Sydney allows us to kind of land critical hits way easier and land these multipliers way easier. Meanwhile, Sygna Cyrus, Power Play. This is a very strong multiplier, but you have to debuff the opponent. And every single time you want to debuff, you have to use Dark Void. And Dark Void will lower the opponent's stat, random stat, -1. How many times do you have to use Dark Void in order to lower the opponent's stats? Unless you have another debuffer unit in your team. Dark Zone, yes. Super effective up next, yes, probably, because you have Super Preparation, that's good. Power Play is gonna be hard to trigger. It will trigger immediately with just one Dark Void, but in order to maximize Power Play, it will take quite a while. Sydney, on the other hand, instant. Enemy confused, use land a critical hit, that's it, maximum multipliers. So, is it worthy to scout for Sygna Cyrus knowing this? Well, number one, you cannot get these numbers without Dark Zone. So keep in mind that without Dark Zone, these numbers will be divided by 2? Was it divided by 2 or divided by 1/3 or something? But just note that the numbers will be much lower without Dark Zone, because these numbers are what's allowing Sygna Cyrus to power up everyone else. Number 2, take note that in order to maximize Sygna Cyrus, you need to have him 3 out of 5. Without 3 out of 5, you get the basic kit. Yes, you get to make the opponents fall asleep. Yes, you get to debuff the opponents using Dark Void. But no, you do not get those crazy Power Play, super effective up next, Dark Pulse, Critical Strike 2, Dark Pulse, Good Nightmare 5, Umbral Power 3. No, you do not get them. And no, you do not get a Dark Wish MP refresh. And you need 3 out of 5. Not 2 out of 5. Not 2 copies, but 3 copies. Meanwhile, Sydney and the Mask Royale are obtainable in your Sync Pair Scout. Any random Sync Pair Scout, they are available. And yeah, Sydney and the Mask Royale are extremely good Dark type Sync Pairs. Karen, we still do not have a 6-star EX, but once she has a 6-star EX, will be even better. But for now, you have them. If you have them, you don't need Sygna Cyrus. If you do not have them, probably a good idea to scout for Sygna Cyrus. But again, I sound like a broken record saying you need 3 copies. And why do you need 3 copies? Why does the game want to make you scout for 3 copies? Because the anniversary is almost here. And that means the game, DNA, wants you to spend your money to get Sygna Cyrus. And they want to extract everything you have, extract all your gems in order for your gem count to be depleted and not have any gems for the anniversary unit. Or for those who spend money on the game to spend more gems to get the anniversary unit. So that's that, guys. If you're willing, if whatever, after hearing all those, do you want to scout for Sygna Cyrus or not? It's your choice. It's your choice. I'm here to give you my thoughts, my analysis on them. Should you scout or should you skip? In the end, that is completely up to you. Personally, I would scout if I do not have Sydney or the Mask Royale or Fall Hilbert. And I will skip if I have Sydney or the Mask Royale or Fall Hilbert. But more or less, I would remove Fall Hilbert from this equation and I'll just concentrate on this two because we have proven the combo of these two are amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing combo. You just need a tanker and these two can handle any dark type stage on their own. But if you want to make them even more powerful, go ahead, scout for Sygna Cyrus. And, you know, just enjoy the game. It's your choice. Again, we have these sync pairs. And again, we have red and classic blue coming out. Red allows you to give super effective up next to any single sync pair that does not have super effective up next. Even if they have super effective up next, most of these sync pairs do not have super preparation just like Sygna Cyrus. Most of their super effective up next is just like has a chance of bringing super effective up next with a trainer move, and then after you use that trainer move, it's gone. Or super effective up next when your HP is below half or something, it only triggers once. Sygna or red can allow your sync pairs to have super effective up next at least 3 times. 2 trainer moves, 1 G-Max replenish, and another trainer move. Meanwhile, Sygna Cyrus can trigger that super effective up next at 3 out of 5, super preparation, 20% chance of bringing you a super effective up next on any attack. And that's also what makes him really good. But what makes him really good is until you get 3 out of 5 with him. So, he's coming on February 10, and Sygna Dawn is coming on February 14. I'll be making another video of Sygna Dawn. Also a baity unit. If you're scouting, good luck. If you have scouted for these two earlier or yesterday, congratulations if you have obtained them. Very good sync pairs as well. But in this list, Sygna Cyrus is pretty good, but unnecessary, especially if you have Grimsley, or rather, if you have the Mask Royale or Sydney, because they are already amazing as heck. And with that said, follow your heart. Do not follow everything that do not scout for anything that the game throws into you unless you have money to do so. Just scout for your favorites. Ignore the unnecessarily overpowered units. Ignore the meta. Just follow your heart. If you love Darkrai, go scout for Darkrai. In fact, trivia, before Zeraora came about, my favorite mythical was Darkrai. But now we have Zeraora. I love Zeraora. I love him so much. Yellow, nice, meow, kitty. In fact, I cosplayed Zeraora sometime in the past. You should have seen it. Anyway, guys, that's it. That was my analysis on them. Should you scout or skip for Cyrus and Darkrai? It's completely up to you. I would scout if I do not have a decent dark type. I would skip, particularly if I have either Sydney or the Mask Royale or both of them. In fact, the Mask Royale is extremely good. Just having one copy is enough. One copy of the Mask Royale, one copy or 2 or 3 copies of Sydney, combine them in battle. Amazing. Meanwhile, You need 3 copies of this guy in order to make him extremely, extremely good. And with that said, that concludes my Scout or Skip thing video for him. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't. You're in the perfect place for Pokemon Masters EX content. Thank you to all my awesome members. Thank you for joining the team, Lance Nice. And thank you everyone. Thank you Shadowphil, Alcin, Aryan Singh, Blaze, John909, Poplio Gaming, Roy Mustango, Luca Midi, Arima Kose, Popwatt, Vishal, Sasri Ambrion, Blue Rose, Marcella. Thank you everyone for your support. If you want to help me out, you can click on the join button down below. And also, I forgot to mention, subscribe to my new Automaton channel. Link will be in the description, where you will hear something like that in covers of random songs and stuff. Subscribe. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching.